On the 169 today, we get to feed the eye. Your eye and my eye, we call it the naked eye. There's something beyond the naked eye that is very much explained, that's very much defined and simplified to some extent. It takes the creative art to bring that out. And that's the reason why today we are explaining that Visual Arts Council. We have beseeched a certain gentleman who is so international in the artistic world, and the in-depth of the Game Changers is right here on the 169 today. Welcome to it. There is something very unique about the artistic world. If anything, I would say that we've actually brought you art before on 169, but not as deep as we're about to go right about now, because this is a gentleman that has been very much exposed in the world of art from, I would call it an age when he really wanted to be an artist, enthusiastic in that sense, and of course today, maybe living the dream, and of course exploring to the extension where you and I could admire, like something ordinary has been brought into another explanation, of which he owes us this sort of explanation on the 169 today. It's the visual arts we've brought you, and we are in the central part of the showgrounds in Lusaka. It's not about agriculture, hell no. It's the creative art and industry that we are on today on the 169. Something like this. We have Mr. Zenzele. I think I would go with the ordinary name and then go deep to explain itself. Yeah. Welcome to 169, and it's an honor for us to be here.
It's my pleasure.
I've always been seeing, is it Henry Daly, from a distance.
Okay,
I didn't realize there's this sort of
space,
huge space inside, and there's something, the ambience, talks to you when you just walk in here to some extent. And thanks to Visual Arts Council anyway for.
Thanks so much for the accolades.
Right. Yeah. So we've actually beseeched you here, having known or heard from outside about this, gigantic artist in Zambia. I've said this on this particular show that all the time that you get to look at someone and then they have something peculiar on them, just know that they're not as ordinary as one could be like that.
Yeah.
So when I first met you and I saw there's locks there, that are not, the locks that are different from mine.
Yes.
I knew there's a lot in this mind that we can actually get to tap from and have all this encyclopedia of wisdom in regards to art and creative industry.
Okay.
When did you begin visual arts?
Visual arts, I think there are maybe say 3 phases.
Yeah.
The first one is when I was just a toddler.
Yep.
I was crawling on the sand, maybe away from my mother's back.
Yes.
Yeah, and then just scribbling on the sand. That was, I think, the first instance. And then the second phase was at school. Yeah, at school I was more like
that's primary school now.
The secondary school.
Right.
Yeah, secondary school. I was the main class artist.
Right.
So whenever the diagrams to be drawn on the blackboard, I'll be called upon, whether it be maths, geography, history, and sciences. They will call upon me to go and do
the illustrate.
The map. And then later on again in the school, I joined the school magazine.
Right.
Yeah, so I was the main illustrator for the school magazine. So from there I started picking up with bits and pieces. And I began also taking art as a subject. But I was
Okay.
just doing it like one-to-one with the art teacher. So I didn't go into the art class. So I used to do it on my own.
Yeah.
So you would give me assignments and then I'll go out in the bush to draw from nature,
Yeah.
you know. So I think it got it into me because I was there by myself, and then it was easier for me to like give myself tasks,
Yeah.
you know. I wasn't under any pressure. So it was a different scenario, unlike where you're in the classroom, the teacher tells you what to do, but I was self-motivated and was supervising myself. But I sat for the main examinations,
Right.
yeah, GCE, which I did. I came out with a distinction in art.
Oh, okay. That explains it now.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So after that, I enrolled at Evelyn Horn College to do art teacher's diploma. It was in 1991. So from there onwards, I started now interacting with the more professional artists. And I met the first chairperson, Mr. Martin Piri. He's one that encouraged me a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, to do, to take up art as a serious, career.
Yeah.
Because he was our lecturer in sculpture, but he would encourage us to come here in the showgrounds. Say, you go to Henry Tari Visual Arts Center.
Right.
You meet serious artists there. And then, of course, I came here. I met some serious artists. There's Lutanda Mwamba, David Bauch, Chirwa. These are some of the guys that welcomed me in the space. And then there was Mr. William Miko, there was Smart Banda, I think he was just around here.
Yeah.
So I started getting into the mainstream art and then began taking part in exhibitions. Yeah, whilst I was still at college.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's a story we are telling today, obviously very lucrative to that point.
Yeah.
Now, there's a type of art, you know, and like I was saying in my introduction, that there's this naked eye we have that doesn't explore that much, you know, apart from seeing an object, maybe apart from seeing what's going on, there's an illustrative story behind that. And then when an artist, you know, tends to kind of put their hand in it, you know, they explain a story to that.
Exactly.
First of all, I would love to get, you know, the type of art that you've actually gone in full throttle with, and then these other types of art that we see, because we're seeing a lot of whole different things in this space.
Yeah, for real.
Of course, I know about sculpture. I know those that you just get a pencil and draw.
Yeah.
And then I see some canvas, and then there's something also on that, but I don't know into detail. How many type of arts do we have?
Well, in here, we have sculptures, which are three-dimensional pieces.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see them from all different angles.
Yeah.
You can go around them. That's why they're called three-dimension.
Oh.
Then you've got two-dimension pieces, which is the ordinary paintings.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones which are displayed on the wall. Yeah, these are on a flat surface, but the picture itself gives you a three-dimensional effect, but otherwise they are two-dimension.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's an illusion of a three-dimension. But for the sculptures, it's different because you can go around.
See it from everywhere.
Yeah, you can see it from everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah. Then we also have there's some sculptures which are like wall hangings or displayed on the wall, like those you can see the slides. Yeah, I'm sure we don't have them in here.
Yeah, but out more outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it sticks to the wall
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
tells the story, just
Exactly.
there isn't anything beyond.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's different from what we see
Yeah,
maybe
it's
here.
different, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
And then there are works like the mural, for instance. This is just on the wall surface. It's a two-dimensional as well.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think you can see this
Opening cave.
opening curve, and you can
Yeah.
see the perspective.
Yeah.
You know, of some hills.
River,
You know,
Yeah.
in the distance or coming towards you, coming on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just like also done during a short period,
Yeah.
where people could do their selfies. So it's more graphical.
So
stuff.
every time there's exhibitions, this or sphere changes.
It all changes because we've got periodic exhibitions from
Yeah.
time to time. So
Yeah.
we keep changing, maybe after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, just like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like you keep putting it over these dimensions. There's drawing involved, and then there's sculpture involved.
Exactly.
Are there specialized arts, or maybe you decide to do everything? Like, can you do sculpture?
Well-
I don't know what this make is.
This is a reinforced concrete.
This is concrete.
Yes, concrete.
Okay, and then there's where you get from a stone.
Yeah, there's marble.
Marble.
Yeah, we call it marble. Of course, it's normally
In a layman language.
Layman language, yeah, it's stone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you also have fiberglass. There's
Yeah.
a warrior outside. I'm sure you've seen the warrior.
Okay.
Just on the,
On the
entrance.
entrance, yeah.
It's made out of fiberglass.
Okay.
Yeah. You've got artworks made out of metal, scrap metal.
Yes.
Pieces of metal that have been just picked from the environment just
Yeah.
to clean up the spaces. Then you also have this. It's quite interesting. This is plastic.
This is plastic.
Yes.
Oh, I figured it's wood.
No,
we are so much
yeah,
used to.
It's got this illusion of wood,
Yeah.
but it's basically 100% recycled plastic.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So it's the
by
waste.
artists. Yeah, waste.
Gotten and then.
Yes. So you can make benches, can make desks, can make all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Even fences around your yard. Can make quite a number of things. Even your house, I'm sure you can.
True.
You can construct a house out of this.
Okay.
Yeah, it's 100% recycled plastic.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then there's the wooden aspect.
There's a wooden aspect which is carved from wood. Some of it we don't cut, fresh trees.
Yeah.
I think as artists are quite disciplined. They get wood which has been maybe
Lying
found
dormant.
dead already.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they get it and then turn it into an art piece.
It's an art piece.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you also have maybe some artworks out of paper.
Yeah.
You've got mosaic, you've got drawings, yeah, which is very basic.
Right.
Yeah, and then we also have, graphics is all over because the billboards that people see around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could I mention that yours is quite specific also?
Yeah, mine is quite specific. I do mainly painting.
Painting.
Yes.
Okay.
But other than painting, I've done installation.
Right.
Installation is like assembling different parts that you just get interested in, and then come up with an art expression.
Okay.
Yeah, you can pick anything. You can come out with maybe a pot, a pan, or a basket, or anything. It's quite conceptual.
Right.
Yeah, it's the expression that I'm trying to interpret in that particular piece.
Right.
So maybe the material might bring in a particular aspect in terms of maybe the historical usage of the material, or where it's coming from, or what it's used for. Then in my own context, I use it also to suit my artistic expression.
To that.
Yeah.
Oh, great. So I think this is like an ice on the or tip on the iceberg, as they say. We're beginning to know Kenneth Chulu, known as Zenzele. There's a lot that we have to kind of tap from this gentleman. International exhibitions, some of the achievements, obviously, and from explanations. I come from a field also where I think it's creative industry. So you find certain terminologies like booth,
Yes.
Studio.
Studio is quite very familiar with
It's
that.
quite familiar. And I think in one of my conversations with you, you had mentioned studio, and I'm like thinking like, oh, okay. Just like when I was coming with my camera guy, I said, we're going to go to the other studio, and then he mentions, oh, is there a lighting system? Oh, okay. I know what it is.
Yeah,
Already.
exactly.
Yeah. So obviously, we'll get to explore more if we get to the other side of your studio where you do your art from.
Yeah.
You know, and of course basic explanations about certain things and maybe go into deep. But before we actually get to leave the council itself, what does this sort of space house?
This one houses the headquarters of the Zambia National Visual Arts Council. I'm sure you can see
From the logo.
Yeah, well engraved here in terrazzo. Yeah.
So this is another piece of art.
It's another piece of art. I mean, this was designed by an artist. See, there's a orange disc. I'm sure you've seen our logo.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here, I'm sure it doesn't look very orange, but I think it's an impression of a sun rising, because the time when the council was being formed, I think there was nothing close to what was being formed. So artists felt it was a dawn of good things to come.
Things to come. Yeah. Oh, nice. So, and then, I don't know, I know of an octagon, pentagon, I don't know how many.
Well, this also was just maybe to suit the design of the terrazzo, as you can see here.
Because the spreads, I think each angle spreads.
Yeah.
Could that also mean that these are rays of the sun?
Well, it also means as a national-wide organization with the branches in Eastern Province, almost in all the provinces. So we've got artists in all these provinces who are representing the Zambia National Visual Arts Council.
All right.
Yeah.
So
this also could mean like the organization spreading its wings across
different parts of the country, and then goes out.
Yeah, goes out.
Okay.
So much of the influence comes from here also. And then also, there are people also come from the provinces, come here. You know, they come to get exposed, then they go out again.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's been
like the central
a vital hub.
You know, for everyone that's coming
Exactly.
through. And obviously you're a product from here, you know.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
You came through.
Yeah.
So we're getting started from the showgrounds with a 169, of course, and then going to go all the way to that's Minwood.
Minwood, yes, Waterfalls.
Waterfalls, Minwood. That's where his studio is, and of course get the pieces of art from there into deep, explain from the genesis all the way to the final product. But before we go here, we have to visit another space there where there's a bit of sculptures and other engravings that is mentioned in the still artistic ward. Maybe a little tiny office as for the introduction. That's your 169. Yeah, so finally, this is like more or less a studio also, if you can call it.
Yes,
but apart from where you do your piece of arts. Just to the details, you were actually telling us about some of the pieces of art. This is the type of?
Yeah, this is a sculpture, a three-dimensional sculpture made out of marble.
Marble.
Yeah, this is a grey marble and brown marble. All these are Zambian stones.
Okay.
Yes.
Which part of this country do you find this stone?
Lusaka.
Oh, okay.
All these are from Lusaka. This is from, the Garden House area. Yeah. And this is, I think, one of the most common marble you can get around. Yeah, it's a grey marble.
Okay.
This one is found, because, Lusaka is sitting actually on marble.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole of Lusaka. That's why you even have a residential called Kamwala. It's because it comes from stone.
Mwala.
Mwala. Yes. Yeah. So, if anything, the biggest concentration of marble is actually in Lusaka area itself.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why you also have water logging because of impermeable. Yeah, it can't penetrate down there.
Oh. So once you get this stone, you get it as rough as
just a rough piece of stone, and then the artist starts shaping it out, and then getting what he wants out of the stone. Sometimes the shape of the stone can also lead the artist to create a particular piece.
Oh.
Yes.
So there is a type of instruments that you have to use for you to.
Yeah, the grinders, drilling machines. Yeah.
And
mostly they use grinders and also some chisels.
Okay. And then if we push onto that,
Yeah,
looks like wood.
this one is it's actually wood,
Mhm.
very hardened wood.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's seasoned. You know, it can be exposed in the sun,
Uh-huh.
can be, you know, soaked by water, but it's still very solid.
Looks like it stayed ages here.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it's a root system of a tree.
Not
No,
the
no,
upper
no, no.
side,
You know,
but the root.
the downside.
The root also hardens up to this.
Yeah, 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 yeah. This is a all root system.
So it was
Dug
uprooted,
from, yeah, you know, when people are clearing,
like
you know,
road
lands
maintenance,
for
road expansion.
for the farms
Yes.
or road expansion, they uproot trees,
Yes.
and then the artist gets those trees and then bring out art pieces.
So what am I seeing here? Is it just two things or one thing?
Here there are two things.
There's an eagle.
Yeah, there's an ego.
Yeah.
Actually, it's an ego.
Uh-huh.
At the same time, it's a chair. It's a utility chair. So you can sit here, you can relax, and
Okay.
yeah, do whatever you want to do. So it's quite relaxing, actually.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's a very nice chair. But also an ego, I'm sure.
That's the head there.
Mhm.
These are
The claws, yeah.
On the other side. Well, I thought maybe there could be like two animals in it. Like
Yeah, you can start seeing so many things now later on, yeah.
the leg of an animal.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know. Okay. And then now
Now you also have, this is a
the human being here.
modeled cement or reinforced concrete.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is,
So, Upon production of this,
Mhm.
you have to have some softer side of cement, and then it hardens later.
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it stages and
you-
process.
it's a stages and process, and then it's usually soft,
Mhm.
you know. The artist has to work whilst it's still soft,
Mhm.
and then after some time when it's just complete, then you can leave it for
Because
drying.
cement hardens quite fast.
Yeah, it
meaning
does.
that you have to be as quick
You
as
have to
possible.
be very, very fast and experienced to handle the material.
So this is what type of art is this now?
This is sculpture.
Sculpture.
Yeah, this is sculpture.
Okay.
Mhm.
The way you get it from the wood is the way you can do it. Even
This one, because wood is more like you are extracting,
Mhm.
you know.
But
But this one is molding. You're actually adding.
Okay.
You see the difference?
Yeah.
Yeah, this one you're adding. You're
Is there
creating.
some shape of a skeleton inside that this person first sees, or it's just all in the imaginary? and
Usually, there are other ways also. You can even cast.
Mhm.
You can make a cast.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you pour in the cement there, and then you can remove the casting so that it comes out.
Texture.
Yeah, it comes out exactly as the. But for the cast again, you have to go to the actual person to make sure you
Yes, in
ma-
the replication.
yeah.
And putting it into.
yeah, you make the cast out of the actual person.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and then you pour the cement into the cast there, so that you can bring out the actual
'Cause
face.
when this caught my attention, I'm sure you saw when I,
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
came
yeah,
here.
yeah.
You say, this face looks so familiar.
So familiar, exactly.
You know, and you definitely get to figure out.
You
who
don't
this
have to
is.
mention names, but the people can just
figure out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. So if you're good, you can figure out who she is. Yeah. I think I know.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, you know, artists also tend to sort of glorify the people that are actually in authority,
Yeah.
you know, and then those are memories for the country,
Okay.
you know.
So if I wanted this piece of thing, I have to talk nicely to the owner.
You have to talk nicely to the owner.
Or it's up for sale.
It's up for sale, of course.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right. This is unique.
thank you.
Absolutely. You know, it now brings out what we were talking about, like what the naked eye could see.
Yeah,
There's something beyond.
there's something beyond there.
If it's only cement that can work out for building a house, and it now.
No,
molds-
artists use all kinds of material.
Oh, yeah.
Can even use Nshima
Mhm.
to create art.
create art.
Yeah. The Nshima people eat.
Yes.
Yeah,
Same
artists,
molded.
yeah, you can mold it and come up with a nice sculpture,
Okay.
you know.
And I'm seeing a leaf there.
Yeah, it's, I mean, it's very obvious.
Mhm.
You have a leaf there and it's
So that's
made
also
out of,
stone.
Yeah, this is the grey marble.
Grey marble.
Yeah, the one which is, I was saying, very prevalent in Lusaka.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have these stones everywhere. Yeah.
Okay. And then our gentleman now doing that sort of illustrative art.
Yeah, he's an upcoming artist. He's trying his skills.
How are you?
He just joined this year.
Okay. How are you doing, boss?
Fine, Lord.
Good, good. What's your name?
Boyd Bishonga.
Boyd.
Boyd Bishonga.
Or Boyd Bishonga. So what are you doing here?
Yeah, I'm trying to do a portrait using different colors.
A prophet?
A portrait.
Oh, portrait. Oh, good.
Yeah, using different colors to express myself, how I'm feeling. Yeah.
Oh, nice. We're just passing by, so you carry on with your work. Okay. It's getting more interesting on the 169.
So usually this is a type of driftwood. It's very, very hard wood.
Okay.
Yeah, it's stubborn. You can expose it anywhere. All the agents, you can't weather out. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's been tested with water and sun. Then you also have, like there's construction of roads going on now.
Yeah.
So that wood which is being cut, artists also collect and then bring out pieces like this. This is jacaranda.
Jacaranda tree.
Yeah, most of those trees is jacaranda trees. Yeah.
Okay.
This is soft wood, but you can see that artists are ever-ending creating impressions out of wood. And they can also mix the wood with other materials. There's some little metals here and beads, nails,
Just to depict
stones. Yeah, you can,
more stories to tell.
it's quite heavy.
Pretty.
Yeah.
So she looks like old at a distance, and then again brings out an aspect of some modern baby.
Yeah. Like a pregnant lady.
Pregnant woman. Or with all these other features now.
Yeah, the features
Booming out.
wearing jeans.
Some serious boy behind.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we also have this one here. This is rosewood.
Rosewood.
Yeah, rosewood.
Mm-hmm.
So that is just, you can see it's got a join here.
Yeah.
There's two different.
Two different types.
Yeah,
Oh.
put together.
Okay.
Mm.
Also
You can hang it on the wall.
Yeah.
See, both 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional
Three-dimensional.
at the same time.
Good.
Yeah. So these are some of my pieces. Yeah. These are
This
big
is in
pieces.
its raw form now.
Yeah, this is a raw form. But this one has never been exhibited here. Yeah. Maybe in its completion. I just brought it from South Africa. Recently. I mean, about 2-3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been here for the past 3 years. You
Yes.
haven't worked on it yet.
I just wrapped it. I've never unveiled it.
Okay. So it's when is it coming to use?
Well, the right time will come. The right time will come.
Okay. Is the same for both?
No. This one I did it here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also exhibited in South Africa at the University of Pretoria.
All right.
Yeah. So I'm sure all these are found on the website. Yeah, you can check them out.
Right. Okay, so from the other side of the showgrounds, we now shift onto Waterfalls Mainwood. That's where his personal studio is, and I guess more stories going to be told, from that end. So there you go. Most of these drives that you would have leisure oriented. Sometimes we go on the safari. It's all about drive, right? Now, this conversational drive that we have today is created from the aspiration of our God First art in its style. And if you definitely get anything artistic, it starts with motion. Okay, an artist to definitely get to derive anything from anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is part of the art that we have in this drive all the way to Waterfalls, Minwood, and get into the other studio and finding out what artistic styles that Mr. Zenzele has done. All right.
Exactly.
Let's get it from the onset. You've been obviously to exhibitions, whether local or international. I want to start from the very first experience. You know, when you got involved into the competitive art.
Yes.
When was it, and where was that?
Yeah, my first ever competitive exhibition was the Zambia Italian cultural event. Yeah, I was still at college by then.
Right.
So I'd done my piece and it was admitted into the exhibition, and I made a sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was that first experience to, you know, get your reward in hard cash.
Yes.
You know, and I was still a student. I paid my fees,
Right.
bought some school requirements. I think that was the last year of my college experience.
Right.
So I paid most of my stuff, my expenses from that particular sale.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And then that was now on the local scene. Obviously, there were other exhibitions that came after that.
Yes.
And then you were all out. I saw is it the Insaka one on the
Insaka,
website?
yeah.
That was in Livingston, which was more or less like a workshop.
Yeah, it's a workshop. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm sure there was a lot to share there, a lot to learn,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you were changing by the time as it came.
Yeah.
Which one else has been more remarkable, especially on your calendar, where you feel like, wow, okay, I was getting to the artistic world and getting accepted and rewarding at the same time.
Yeah. I think one of the most significant exhibitions was in Osaka,
Yeah.
Japan.
Japan. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was like an induction into the mainstream art.
Right.
Yeah. From there on, well, it was all sailing now to get acceptance in mainstream, you know, corridors of art.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the Osaka one was very, very significant.
You went with your usual style of painting, or
Well,
maybe there was a theme that was accredited to it.
well, no, the exhibition itself was called the Osaka International Triennale.
It's an annual event.
Well, not really an annual event. I think it just happened for that particular season.
All right.
Yeah, I never heard of it again afterwards. Yeah, but it was a huge, I think it's a global event.
Okay.
There were, I think, more than 93 countries.
Wow.
And then I was the first Zambian to exhibit in that particular exhibition. And then there were only 4 artists from Africa.
Right.
Yeah, there was 2 from South Africa, and then myself,
That made
and
5.
1 from Zambia, and then it must have been 5, I think.
Okay.
There's another one from Nigeria.
All right.
Yeah.
So all these that were coming to exhibit were coming with a different style of pieces
Different
to
styles of
exhibit
work.
there.
Actually, my work, I myself physically, I did not travel, but just a thrill of, you know, participating in that exhibition. It was also an eventful show because my work was apparently in Germany.
Okay.
It was it had gone for an exhibition for the expo.
Yeah.
You know, the World Expo event.
Yes.
So after the expo, I'd entered it into this triennale in Japan. So they asked for it, and they said, okay, the work is in Germany, So it needs to be sent to Japan. So I
Japan.
used the Zambian embassy
Yeah.
in Berlin.
Right.
They're the ones who facilitated now the artwork to be transported to Japan.
Japan.
Yeah.
And it won. And it
Well,
had colors for itself.
It had, because of the logistical challenges,
Yes.
the artwork was earmarked for the prize.
Mhm.
But because of those logistical challenges,
Yes.
we sort of missed out,
Mhm.
you know. So it went there late, then it even went to the wrong city. It landed in Tokyo instead of Osaka.
Yeah.
Yeah, so because of all those challenges,
Yeah.
we never made it to the first screening,
Mhm.
which was made.
Yeah.
And because that screening was now like shortlisting artworks for the actual prize.
Right.
It was about 93,000 US dollars.
Okay.
Yeah,
By then.
by then, yes.
And which year is this we're talking of?
2001.
2001.
Yeah.
All right.
So I missed it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but again, just having the thrill of participating in that event, for me it was
Pretty much. It's one of those that stings. in
yeah,
the
out of
memory.
this world, and there's a big catalog that
Yeah.
came with it. So from that I felt, okay, at least with this catalog I'll go a long way to publicize my participation.
Right.
Yeah.
And then obviously, apart from exhibitions, others have been points where you're going to showcase your pieces,
Mhm.
just to show it to the world.
Yeah.
I also love to have perhaps another catalog of all these countries that you've been to, and
Mhm.
then getting an understanding from each particular side that you've been in this world.
Okay.
You know, compared to where we are, Zambia,
Mhm.
where you are as an artist independently,
Yeah.
and having learned or interacted with these other arts from different countries.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, well, one of my first experience was Botswana,
Yeah.
where I did participate in INSACA-related workshop,
Right.
because there are all these networks of workshops which it began in New York,
Mhm.
but it started spreading out to different countries.
Right.
So there was a South African artist, he just passed on this year,
Right.
Dr. David Kolwane.
Mhm.
He's the one who brought the workshop concept
Yes.
into the African continent.
Right.
Yeah, then from there, so many other networks started growing,
Mhm.
you know, from Tupelo workshop in Cape Town.
Right.
And then there was Tulipamwe in Namibia,
Mhm.
Pachipamwe in Zimbabwe,
Yeah.
and then there was Ujamaa in Tanzania.
Tanzania. Yeah.
Yes. Then Mbile,
Mhm.
Zambia.
Yep.
And then there was Ngoma, I think in Uganda, Wasanii
Mhm.
in Kenya.
Yes.
Aftershave in Nigeria, Tank in Senegal.
Mm.
So all these worked so much in a rhythm that was encouraging participation by
Yeah.
African artists
Yes.
coming from different countries.
Yeah.
Because before these workshops, you know, if you're an artist from, let's say, Mozambique, for instance,
Right.
if you want to go and have international exposure,
Mhm.
you go to Portugal, which
Yeah.
is a colonial linkage.
Yes.
You know, from Zambia maybe you go to England, from Congo DR maybe you go to Brussels. So there was all those colonial connections.
Mhm.
But when these workshops began, I think they broke the barrier so much that we could crisscross the continent.
Yes.
Your artists coming from Lusophone or Francophone countries,
Yeah.
coming in our space to interact and then do some artworks. It was quite exciting.
Right.
Yeah. And then my experience in Botswana, taught me a lot.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was exposed also to some international artists. We had some guys from South Africa and Mozambique.
Right.
Yeah, who came into the workshop, and there's another one also from UK. So from that experience, I started growing as an artist, you know.
Right.
Yeah, and then the consequent period that came, started now traveling to different places, and then got involved also with INSACA
Right.
as a project coordinator. So I'd go for workshops in Johannesburg or Cape Town. Yeah, all those were like bringing the scope of art, you know, to the fore.
Right.
And then through INSAC again, we started holding art workshops, like you must have come across in Livingstone.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we started in Siavonga. After Siavonga, we went to Chaminuka, Livingstone, and then we've having them in Livingstone ever since.
Right.
Yeah, and then I've had some experiences to attend other workshops in Senegal.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I went also to attend a conference, art conference in Abuja, Nigeria.
Right. Yeah.
Then Ethiopia, I went for, I've been to Ethiopia about 8 times.
Right.
Yeah, then it's been art workshops. I also went to facilitate some students to start INSACA similar, you know, organization there called the NETSA.
Yes.
Yeah, which is still up and running up today.
Okay.
Yeah, and I had some experience with the government of the Republic of Zambia as a designer for the pavilions.
Okay.
Yeah, these are international pavilions in Japan. I went to Aichi, Nagoya.
Yeah.
I was there to design the Zambian pavilion, which also won an award.
Nice.
Yeah, and then afterward, I went to another expo under the government again in Shanghai, China.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did some modification of the pavilion. Yeah, which was also quite a stunning result.
Right.
Yeah. Then after that, again, there was another expo in Milan, Italy,
Yeah.
which I designed again. Yeah, and then there was a year, I think 2012, I won a lottery to go to.
So this process of winning came about as a part of competition.
It was a competition.
Okay.
Yeah, I entered the competition. Then luckily, I got this award. I was the only one representing the whole continent of Africa.
Wow.
Yeah. So the privilege was to travel to Switzerland to go and see the Art Basel. It's a huge fair.
Yeah.
One of the biggest art fairs in the world. You know. And then also visit the Documenta in Germany.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was the award itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Great. I mean, you speak itself here, and I would say that you're quite a big team, if I would say, in the world of art.
Okay.
And it's not the same story as yours. I know it cannot have similar stories.
Yeah.
But at least there's some attachment of achievement that one would definitely get to talk about. It's not the same story like you're mentioning here. What do you think most of the artists around Zambia hold to themselves, that such that they can't, go beyond what they do? Could it be limitations, or could it be that there's no confidence to speak within their arts or creative parks? And whatnot?
Combination of what you've said.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's lack of confidence, because you need to push yourself beyond the limits that you've set yourself around with, where you look at yourself as a potential resource that can bring change to your own self, to your own career. I mean, if you can see success in others, why can't you also do it?
Right.
Yeah. So it's a question where somebody doesn't want to limit themselves. Then you can go many
Are there
mouth.
avenues for exposure in the creative industry of your art, especially visual arts?
Open yourself up to participation in different workshops. Make sure you improve your, your output.
Yes.
You know, for you to be picked, appreciated by authorities then you be recognized, and then what follows after is history. You know, because for me it was the hard work. You know, it pays. So never underestimate what you put in.
Right.
You know, every hard work has got a reward. You know.
So locally, affiliations is mainly to the main body itself. Visual Arts Council.
Visual Arts Council.
You don't have any others that have sprung out over the years?
Out of Visual Arts Council, you've got INSACA, for instance.
Yes.
It's an affiliate of Visual Arts Council.
Okay.
And then there was a time I also got my first local studio at Roxton, where I developed much of my work. Yeah. It was also an affiliate of the Visual Arts Council. So you've got all those, small little bodies, but they also add up to the big picture. Yeah, Letchwe Trust is a charity arts organization that gives charity to aspiring artists who want to go and expose themselves.
Right.
You know, for education, for like the trip to Senegal was sponsored by Letchwe Trust.
Okay.
Yeah. So you've got all these, well-positioned organizations that support art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's up to you now to choose where to belong to and
which direction you want to take. Then you can ask for assistance or help.
And these are general bodies, is it?
Yeah.
They don't limit you if
no,
you're
they
an artist
don't.
that is visual, or maybe a curator, or if you are what?
Yeah, there's some specific criterias or conditions set by these same institutions. Yeah. And then whether you are a visual artist or a performing artist, you know exactly what they're asking for. So if they say they're asking for visual arts submissions, then you can apply.
Okay. All right. It's been a very insightful ride, I would say, on the Great East Road.
Yeah.
Up to a point where we've actually almost, reached and definitely getting to know more of Kenneth Chulu Zenzele is the most pronounced name. It's a household name, obviously, in the world of art. And this man you're seeing here was born three years after Zambia got its independence. So that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
And bringing the story far up to here, obviously, has still got a lot more to say, and you're still going in the future.
Yeah.
Can you tell me that you've reached to your point where you feel like, well, you've done enough in the world of art, and now you can retire, or maybe you still got the energy?
No ways. You know, there's no retirement in art.
Right.
As far as I know. I met an artist in Nigeria by the name of Bruce Onobrakapeya.
Yes.
He's well up, maybe in his 80s. Yeah. But he's still very energetic, still exhibiting, and he's advising me, say, you know what, it's through the grace of God that you keep on working. As an artist, there's no retirement. Artists who retire, they're not artists.
Yes.
You know, as far as I'm concerned, they're not artists, because it's the only career that keeps going until the last day of your breath.
The creative energies could still remain as high as you are, and in the end even turn into this, like I mentioned earlier, encyclopedia of wisdom.
Yeah.
Coming to you for
exactly
tutorials.
Actually, at the stage where I am now, it's more like I'm beginning.
Okay.
You know, to get these big recognitions around, because art is like wine. It has to mature.
Yes.
It's not like an overnight sensation. You have to grow into the business to understand the intricacy of what goes on, what goes out in the arts business. You know, so it's not an easy thing which you want to do it just by say tomorrow you want to become a star. No.
Could you grow from an let me say from zero talent, or there's supposed to be some element of you having an inborn style of art?
There are only two ways. One is acquisition of the skills.
Okay.
And then the other one is the natural progression from when you're an inborn artist.
Yes.
You are born with it, you know. Maybe you just need to meet elements that will sharpen you up.
Yeah.
You know, but otherwise the ability is right there in you. And then, well, those are the only two.
I could start from zero and still...
Yeah. Once if you have the passion, the interest for you to progress as an artist, you'll make it. You'll make it.
What could be lacking in most of these amateur, novice?
It's the burning desire.
Maybe gathering of instruments or utensils.
Of course, because that desire, that passion, that liking will lead you to, you know, gather information, gather skills, gather tools, you know, instruments from whatever angle, you know. So it's up to you. You have to come up with a strategy of how you can overcome your fears, overcome your lack of confidence, overcome your, well, because you have to believe that you can make it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So once you have all those traits in you, then it's very easy. You know, it's very easy. But if you don't have them, you struggle to get there.
On the way.
Yeah.
Quite unique. Do you remember the age you were at the time that you held the first pencil to move?
Well, of course, there's always a period where you sort of get to understand the trade itself. Of course, at school.
Yes.
At school, yes, I would say I discovered that I could do much more, much better. Then I started exerting myself into that direction.
Right.
Yeah.
We're finally here, and this is a point where we have to learn another type of a studio, but in the context of art.
Yeah.
Like I always get you for my studio, and you know, booths, as per mentioned, which is actually a qualified term. There's also another qualified term here to actually get into the detail of where we are. This is our destination, and join us in the booth, Zenzele and Machamande on the 169. Right, so we're finally in the studio, and this is what obviously you've been thinking hard about, as in to get into see what type of a studio. I can't lie to you, it's the same with me. All right, I'm coming from the other studio, so I was thinking it's another studio. But of course, you know that a studio is just an area or space where you get to you know, produce something, and then it's out to the world, you know, for output. But all in all, this is just another artistic studio where our brethren sort of you know, does his work all the time, and it's work in action. There's nothing you know, to doubt about, or maybe kind of think you know, of and go. It is all action work, and of course you're getting now into the details of where it's all done from. You know, where at the Visual Arts Council we are seeing end products from studios, and part of the pieces in here are also end products, but this hasn't actually got into the product, to the final product itself. It's maybe in the middle, if I'm correct.
We're still in the very infant
Stages?
Stages, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the genesis is more or less like what you're seeing up front there.
Yeah, yeah.
So it starts like that, gets to this level.
Yeah, you start with the pencil, you conceptualize your subject, then you start sketching little bit by bit and adding more elements into it. Yeah.
Okay. So what constitutes an art studio?
What constitutes an art studio is the environment where you station all your tools,
Right?
you know, equipment
Yes.
that allows you to produce what you have to produce. Yeah. For instance, if it's in music, you have your your instruments,
Right.
your recording equipment, and everything else, and microphones. All those things is soundproof.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even in a visual art studio, every little thing that I need, I require for me to work successfully, it has to be in the studio.
Right.
It's like a laboratory in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's got all the little other elements that, well, whatever you need to produce an artwork, it has to come from the studio. Whether you need a small nail, you need a sellotape, you need glue, you need a brush, you need what, everything is stationed in the studio.
So no piece of thing that we're seeing here is irrelevant. It's all got its
Everything, what you see in here is very, very relevant.
Okay. All right. So now let's get to the motivation of your artwork.
Yeah.
What inspires the Zenzele style?
Yeah. You know, Zenzele works in quite a number of different styles, but more significantly, there's been I enjoy landscaping because these are, you know, this is imaginative, but at the same time working from memory.
Yeah.
I don't have any reference. The reference is in the head. Yeah, so it comes from the places, many places I've been to. You know, Zambia is a beautiful country.
Right.
You know, and there's so many places that have inspired me. The landscapes, the stunning.
Right.
You know, and I was like, okay, why don't I put them in my work somehow? Then there are also some imaginative angles here and there, but
just to spice a little bit by its own nature.
I just love landscape painting. Yeah, it's just, it releases me into the space for freedom. You know, I can wander into the space, can wander into the landscape, and come back and go back again, just like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So it's more very peaceful, you know.
I could see that most of these pieces also you are bonding pretty well with nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of the pieces I've seen, I think some of the pieces I saw at the VAC, and when I walked in here also, there's a huge element of you getting attached to nature.
Nature,
itself.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, nature, I think, you say if the creator created this world, the first, you know, artist, above everything.
Okay.
It's God himself,
It's God himself.
as artist. Because that's why we get inspiration as artists.
Right.
It's from nature itself. And then, you know, it's quite funny because I remember doing a landscape painting in my home village,
Right.
in Chipata. And then when I went back years after, I discovered that much of the trees that are depicted in that landscape, they are gone.
They're gone.
Amazing.
Wow.
So if I was to go back, I will paint a landscape without trees, you know. So you can see that at times we record things that people don't really pay attention to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember very well, I think in the first beginning of the show, you were, and I was like, wow, these people do complement each other. Or let me say, we all complement each other in a certain way. Where you have a discipline of not going to, you know, pluck down a branch from a tree, or maybe just cutting off the tree completely because you want to save that nature, unless there's a dead wood somewhere where you have to go and you know, get it and put it into art.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're talking of nature that has been destroyed, so to say.
Exactly.
You know,
exactly.
and you don't have the
It's
future
so
for it.
painful. It's so painful. But
Do you have fears maybe as an artist, like maybe in the future you won't have emerging arts that will have something to bond with nature like you're doing?
I think the world needs to be cultured. They need to go back to the basics, because art was part and parcel of the old ancient society.
Okay.
We just started ignoring it with this so-called modernity in our space. We're so brainwashed that people are not cultured, because for you to be cultured, you have to appreciate your surroundings, your environment.
Right.
You know, that's why artists come into the picture, because they will depict the environment the way it is. Yeah. So our fear is that we are losing so much. You know, and if you look around, the kind of pollution that's going on, it's just breathtaking. Yeah, breathtaking.
All right. If again we go around the country, we go in certain places where, you know, at that time people that existed knew let me mention that they could have been maybe signaling something in the future. You know, like for rock paintings that you find maybe in Northern Province and other parts of the country. Do you pick anything from there, you know, illustratively and
Actually, I was going to come to the other style of my work. So if you look at that one there, that's an inspiration from rock art.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this one, this kind of style, you see me doing abstraction, is coming from rock
paintings.
Rock paintings.
So this is where you've been physically?
Yeah, physically I've done research in those same sites.
Yeah.
And then it just urged me to sort of come up with a way in which I can become a voice.
Yeah.
You know, to speak about the rock sites.
Through painting.
Or the place through painting, exactly.
Yeah.
You know. And it's quite an amazing journey, because it's been very symbolic in the way that I can come out from doing landscape and go into total abstract work.
Okay.
You know, and much of the sites in Zambia, they've got abstract paintings, rock paintings. It's different from Zimbabwe, Botswana, Namibia, and South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, where you have, you know, hunters, you know, depicted chasing elephants or trapping buffaloes, whatever.
Yeah.
But in Zambia, it's very abstract. So this is not coming from outside Africa. It's very much Zambian. People need to explore, need to go and see these sites, see for themselves. You know, for me, I'm just extending the lifeline of the rock site. I mean, the rock art heritage.
Do they have any symbolic meaning?
I think, you know, you and me were not there.
Yes.
For us to understand what they
exactly
were
they're
depicting.
trying to communicate. Yeah.
Yeah, but when you look at them critically again, you find that there are also elements of nature
attached to that. Okay.
Yeah, you know, if you zero in, you find that much of the work, for me, there's some depictions of seeds or some plants, little plants, or maybe you zero in on a bush, some little twigs, branches, and, you know, combination of so many things in one.
Yeah.
And it comes from nature, you know.
Okay.
So when you start relating nature and the abstract, you start seeing nature in the abstract itself.
And most of these engravings were actually done by the Bushmen that made the caves.
Yeah.
So it's still a big wonder as into what they were thinking, really, or trying to communicate among themselves.
Exactly, because I mean, from Chadiza.
Do you reckon they could be territorial to some extent? Because how similar are they? Or are they
I'll give you just a synopsis of these rock sites.
Yes.
You know, the rock sites in Chadiza district
Yeah.
and those found in Malawi,
Mm.
they are quite similar.
Okay.
Yeah. They are painted from very white substance, like white ash, or it could be, I don't know what they were using in those days, but very, very white.
Right.
Yeah. But coming to Katete, Chipata, and these other areas close by, you've got a complete different style again, you know, with the browns, red and black and white.
Could it be one of these?
Yeah, it's now bordering to this kind of work.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, dots, you know, triple lines, or could be parallel lines.
Yeah.
You know, you just imagine that they could be using the fingers,
Yeah, just to.
and then just draw the lines that just like that.
Yeah.
You know, in parallel form.
Okay. Is
And then from Katete going up to, I think, Serenje, same style.
okay.
Yeah. Kasama again is a different twist.
Twist. Yeah.
Kasama has got a little bit of figures here and there, but mostly also is abstracted.
It's abstracted.
Yeah.
Okay. So if I picked on different ones, or maybe apart from what you've talked about, say what you're working on right now, and then what we're seeing over there.
I'm also
biggest
touching
canvas.
there just a little bit,
Okay.
here and there. Yeah.
Here and there. Okay. And then getting to see what we have also here. I would love to begin with this. What's the inspiration here? What's the story? On this-
Yeah,
this
okay. The inspiration also goes back to the exploration I've had in the quest to find these rock sites.
Right.
So it's a stunning, say, the landscape where these rock sites are found is just out of this world.
Right.
It's amazing because the Bushmen, they're very, very creative in the way they also chose the shelters, the rock shelters. They were not just picking any shelter.
Right.
If you look at them, you feel like these guys that some kind of architectural ability to sort of choose a very creative rock.
Yes.
You'll be sitting on another rock, and it's just so stunning. You just feel different when you reach where the rock site, I mean, are.
Ah, yes.
You know.
Okay.
And then it drove me to start working into landscape painting,
Right.
you know, because it's interrelated. I'm doing the landscapes where the rock sites are found.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can get the same inspiration of the rock sites and bring out this kind of work.
Kind of painting.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. That's
So for me, much of the landscapes come from the very, very bush, remote areas where these rock sites are found.
right. Now let's talk arts, creative arts, and sustenance. I think maybe this is where the fears are from the outside. We all love lucrative, careers, career paths, and whatnot. We all love to be what at some point and make a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah.
If not just. Let's talk about the sustenance in here now. Do you survive as an artist in Zambia?
I'm a living example. Whatever I do, it comes from art. Whether it's from art administration, or I've done projects in art, I've done consultation in art, facilitation in art, teaching in art. It all comes full circle.
Full circle from it,
Yeah.
and you're able to
I'm
live the life.
I'm able to live on my art.
It's well paying.
I'd say yes, it's well paid.
Okay.
Yeah, but the other thing also is that you really have to, in Nyanja or in Bemba say Chetekelo,
Okay.
yeah, which is more like
Faith.
faith in your activity.
Yeah.
Because without your faith, then you cannot get out what you want from it. because you have less confidence,
Yeah.
and then even the kind of characteristic that you put on the market, it will be defeating the very purpose that you want to make a living out of it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because believe you me, you have to do your best all the time.
Yeah.
You know, because at times, I mean, we're from the Henitari Gallery.
Yes.
Sometimes I just show off papers, moving around with documents, serving artists, paying artists, or going to the bank. I'm still working in the visual arts.
Right.
You know, at a different level.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I still get whatever I get from there also helps sustain my family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
You know, I come here, somebody's interested in my artwork, fine.
That's where it is.
That's where it
So,
is.
so most of these, CADs we're seeing here, they're not really for fun. If you see an artist,
Yeah,
it's not for fun. It's for sale.
Exactly.
It is
There
for
are exhibitions lined up within Zambia and outside, where I'm
You carry
expected
them and
to participate.
Yes,
Yeah. So already those are opportunities.
where you can showcase.
Where you
and then
showcase
get to
your
sell
work. Yeah.
at the same time.
Yeah.
So that is also bringing the aspect of tourism.
Mm-hmm.
You know, our big time orientation in the 169 is also to bring, arts and industry with heritage and tourism, to the fore. And
Yeah,
play.
exactly.
And I believe there are people that travel, miles to come to Zambia.
Yes.
They've heard of these paintings in the caves. They've heard of arts that are very much depicting of nature.
Exactly.
And then they're very much exposed to modern world that side.
Exactly,
So
yeah.
they're traveling in miles, and like I'm saying, it's all about complementing each other. And I must say, yours is also another endeavor that is striving very hard, to bring closer, to elements that will definitely get you propel tourism in Zambia. And
Yeah.
it's a recommendable job.
Thank you.
It's a commendable job at the same time, but I would only say that time is quite limited, and getting to appreciate your effort, your allowing us to be in the space like your studio, like you've mentioned, allowing us to be at the Visual Arts Council, Henry Tell, my first time ever in that gallery.
Really?
I've never been, several times.
Interesting.
And
Interesting.
just bringing out what's pretty much deep in the creative art is what we appreciate on the 169.
Okay.
Yeah, and we look forward to maybe coming one of these fine days when there's an exhibition, seeing how much work you're going to explore. But I'd love you to kind of say it, from the horse's mouth.
Yeah.
Who's coming from Switzerland?
Zambia, I think we're in the formative, stages of our development in the visual arts. We are yet to create a big wave of influence in the region and on the continent, because much of Zambian art has not really been exposed outside. I mean, I'm sure I also pay tribute to you guys to start exploring what artists in the studios are doing.
Right.
Yeah, because through this kind of magazines, I think people will tend to understand what constitutes to produce an artwork. At times, it's funny. There are people who just think, oh, I can easily do this.
Right.
Others even want to get it for free. But you put in your best, you put in your effort, you
Right.
put in your intellect.
That's it.
To bring out whatever. I've explored the countryside.
Right.
To get the inspiration of rock art. So people have to open their ears. I mean, we are agents of tourism at the same time.
Absolutely.
When tourists land at the international airport, ask the taxi driver, and then maybe some of them, they don't even know where we are found. But
Right.
most of the tourists want to know where an art gallery is. So we've got a task to work as a team from various angles.
Right.
The media, the artists, the taxi drivers, and all these, the hotels. It's a family that can actually signage each other.
Right.
To bring the required no foreign exchange.
Absolutely. Yeah.
It can contribute to the GDP of this country.
That's the way it is. Through just your hands
Taxes,
and your mind and your
exactly.
energy, your body, your time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they say, utilizing time, efficiently and at the same time.
Believe me, I mean, just from last year, there's some reports of saying 700 billion dollars was raised from the creative industry in the US.
Wow.
That's one
That's
sector.
a big patch on the back, yeah.
That's one sector.
Yeah.
So the potential is very much there. And if we put up a biennial or a big international event of art, for instance, I mean, it can bring in so many cultural tourists who come and, you can book the hotels
And fill up everywhere,
buy the artworks. It's a cycle.
Yeah. One living example of an artwork that has been to international exhibitions is this piece
one.
over here.
Yeah.
This has been to Abuja in Nigeria.
Nigeria and Israel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Israel, Abuja, and okay. That's Israel, Nigeria, and which other countries you mentioned?
No, it's just
There's two countries.
two countries.
Yeah, so that speaks volumes, obviously, and goes to that circle. So all this magic in the gallery of the Subwoofer studio, you can find them zenzelechulu.weebly.com.
Yes, exactly.
Weebly is spelled as WEBLEY, then .com. Then you'll be all out, and of course find this all at.
You can see much more.
And then what's so exciting is that you're on the 169, you're seeing it for now. That is going to be in your other spare time. But it's been an exciting expedition, being on the 169 and getting to explore the creative industry. It's never easy. We always get to think that we're in the creative packages ourselves, but it's pretty much extended. And through collaborative efforts, we've made it all this possible. Driving all the way from the central district of Lusaka, coming to the other side, eastern part, and then finally here into the studio. Our journey is complete, and we can only wish you all the best in this particular endeavor.
Thank you.
Lovely.
Thank you for
It's
coming.
been exciting.
It's an honor, actually.
Yeah.
You're the first crew to come into my studio.
Into the studio. Wow, we're so humbled and honored. I wish we could leave some indelible ink somewhere to say the QTV crew was here.
You can do
anywhere. I don't wish I should pick what. That's it. It's over and done. Our expedition for the 169 today has actually ended in Mainwood Waterfalls here in Lusaka. Well, it's the parting of Chongwe and Lusaka. Well, I don't know, that's your geography. But of course, the art has been explored and everything explained into detail, and no more of a layman. Until next time on the 169.